Hey everybody, Jack is a mimic, and if you can't beat him, join him. Like most great pieces of art, Elden Ring is a one-of-a-kind experience that challenges its audience by asking tough questions and, like its predecessors, tough monsters. Much like director Hidetaka Miyazaki's previous games, Elden Ring is much of the same, from the bosses, the NPCs, and even the poison swamps. All of this has been done before, time and time and time again. Not only is it like playing the same games as before, but even the story is an imitation. Co-written by author George R. Martin, Elden Ring can't decide whether it wants to be Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire. So it decides to be both. Good artists create, but great artists steal. Shout out to my friend who runs Centered Tarnish. Check out his channel. The philosophy of mimicry is built into the bones of Elden Ring. The item Lost Ashes of War lets you duplicate special abilities, and it reads, "Thus does the copy pass into becoming genuine article." So even though Elden Ring is a mimic, that doesn't take away from its value or its power as a piece of art. In fact, it enhances it. Have you noticed that the map of the Lands Between is mimicking a fetus? It's clear as day. The mountaintops representing the head, this is the nose and the mouth towards the south, and the Halig tree representing the brain. Down towards the Lake of Liurnia, we can find the main part of the body, and by flipping the map to the underground, we could see that the Lake of Rot is much like a stomach full of acid. Finally, Limgrave and Caelid make up the legs and feet. Get it? Limgrave? So what about the Weeping Peninsula? Well, that's just mimicking the Lands Between. We just have to mirror it. See? It's a mini Lands Between. And the gang is all here. In the middle, we have an Erd tree, while this wizard tower represents Raya Lucaria, and beneath the tower is a poison swamp where we would find the Lake of Rot. In between the House of the Moon and the capital of the Erd tree, we have a miniature village of the mad and frenzied. Even Radagon and Marika are both here. While the Forge of the Giants takes you to the ancient city of Farum Azula, the Tower of Return takes you to the fated city of Leyndell. Looking for an old sorcerer familiar with primal glintstone blades? Well, we can find one of those hanging out in the Witchbane ruins. Too cold for Castle Sol? Pick up your Eclipse Heater Shield. Mog wouldn't give you the creeps. This guy's selling bloody fingers. Shadow the Erd Tree too tough for you? Mesmer's mark is left in the Impaler's catacombs.
Please help.
You can even find the Gloam-Eyed Queen hidden amongst demi-humans. And while the Lands Between has the Weeping Peninsula, the Weeping Peninsula has the Mourn Moan Grave. The final boss even has red hair. You might be asking, if everyone's here, where are the Nox? Well, that's my favorite part. They were here the whole time. The Weeping Peninsula looks just like a larval tear. It is the core of a creation of mimicry known as a silver tear. And when I see tears, I just have to ask, who's crying? And this looks just like a larval tear. And this looks like just a larval tear. And this looks like a mimic. And this looks like a mimic mimicking mimics. And this is just a mimic mimicking mimics. And this is a mimic of a mimic of a mimic. And the mimic just looks like larval tears. And everywhere you go, it's tears and tears and weeping and crying. And I just have to ask, who's crying?
Like the circles that you find